Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on my video. It's my first video that I've done in a while, and this one will be about governance in the Cosmos ecosystem, specifically on the Juno blockchain. It has to do with the spending proposal that's been crafted by Crypto Tank. He's a well-known, well-respected content creator and voice in the space. He'll join me in a couple of seconds. If you're into crypto and you have no idea what I'm talking about, it might be really interesting to stick around so you could see firsthand how decentralized governance actually works on a blockchain using cryptocurrency. If you're a Cosmos ecosystem stakeholder, specifically a Juno staker, I promise we'll get to what's important so you could make an informed vote. Feel free to put your concerns down below, ask questions, make comments. I'll make sure I'm checking those up until the prop goes live to help you out with any problems or questions that you have. It'll help people engage more with the prop, and that's what we want. We want more voices and more people involved in governance. Before we start, let's get one thing straight. There will be no attempt by me to sway your vote. I have a clear bias. I told Tank that I would support pretty much any version of his proposal once I saw that he was constantly revising it and I understood what it was about. I'm now a member of this team that will be overseeing the execution of this proposal, which involves taking community funds, staking it, and then using the staking rewards to create a marketing effort around Juno. This prop definitely eliminates a lot of the risk that community members have been asked to take on with previous spending proposals, and that's because Tank will explain just how he's going to manage the money in a way that guarantees that the community gets back the money from the community pool. And yes, you heard that right. Only the staking rewards are going to be spent in order to fund this marketing effort. I think this is a great way to spend community funds. You know, strong community, strong community, strong community. How about empower the community to leverage some of their skills to bring value back to everybody else? That's what this prop is about. So listen closely, decide how you want to vote. Make sure to engage down below if you can. And yeah, we're about to start. Welcome, Tank. Thanks for coming on to explain this prop. I think this is an important step just for transparency. And what I'll do is I'll just ask you questions, even though I'm involved in the prop. It'll be kind of like an interview, but just to get um, just the basic information out there so people can vote. They could comment down below. They could talk to you. You're very open and available on social media. So thanks for doing this.
Sure. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Let's jump into it.
Yeah. I think the most important part of the proposal, and maybe you could chime in, is that community funds are not going to get spent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're
That
going
is
to
that is a big.
you're going to manage community funds, or a
Mm-hmm.
team is going to manage community funds, and the staking rewards, just to take advantage of the emissions on Juno, the staking rewards on Juno. That's what's going to get spent after X amount of time. The amount that you're asking for gets returned back to the community pool. That's right.
Yes. Yes. If the community so chooses, so they can, after a year, or even, to be very honest with you, throughout the process of this, if they ever choose to, just say that this isn't worth it, and for whatever reason they actually want to return it, a community vote or community proposal could always get thrown up there and just take it back to the community pool. So, yeah.
Okay, that's something that I haven't seen. I think that's really important. I think the community should at any time be able to pull the plug on any project that the community's funding. And I know I'm on the prop. I have something to gain if it passes, but I would like to see a mechanism where the community can just say no. No more money to you. We paid you this amount. I don't care what the original proposal said. New proposal, Trump's old proposal. We're putting this up for a vote, and if it passes now, no more funding. I think that's fair if you're not delivering.
Yeah.
Right? I think
Yeah,
it's
no, I
fair.
think I think for community pool spends, obviously including ours and going forward, I think that that should be kind of a staple. I mean, the community should always be in control of the funds at all times.
Agreed.
We're asking to use them in a more beneficial way, but if the community at any given time, like I said, decides that this isn't beneficial, or for whatever reason they decide that they just want to put it back into the community pool, they should have the power to do that.
Yeah. And even if they want to continue exactly what has gone on, just with a completely different set of people in charge, they should be able to do that too. I think
Yep.
that's fair. Um, First question: Why why is this set up as a management group and not a DAO at first?
It's really to be able to execute a lot more efficiently and yeah, like let me just stick with that point first because well, I think DAOs, obviously, we were subDAO, are great. A lot of the problems that we're noticing with DAOs is there's a lot of gunk or slow up in the process of getting things done. And in this case, there's a lot of things that are going to need to be actually executed fairly quickly and fluidly. And so, having a managing board of members being able to actually quickly make things happen is more beneficial, in my humble opinion.
No, I agree. I think DAOs are good if you're going to set up a whole bunch of rules ahead of time.
Mhm.
DAOs are not reactive enough, I think, and since this is a long-term plan, anything can happen. I feel like a small team can maneuver a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently, right?
Yep.
It's just, you know, you don't know what can happen. And I
Yep.
think to start, this could always transition into a DAO, especially as the new DAO tooling on Juno gets rolled out with version 2. Um, I think before we even get into the deep into the proposal, in your opinion, what makes a spend proposal a worthwhile spend proposal for the community? The community's funding this. What should the community look at before they vote yes or no?
I think a roadmap. I want to say I hate the term roadmap, but a plan of attack is definitely crucial. I don't. I've been seeing a lot of proposals, and it doesn't even have to be with community funds, but I've been seeing a lot of proposals be very vague, and I think we need to kind of get away from that. So I'd like to see, at least for anybody asking, us included, for community spend proposals. I'd like to see a little bit more detail in that, and hopefully we provided that with this prop, and then also a return for the community in itself for doing what they're doing. There should be a measurement of expectations upon what these funds are going to be used for. And again, it's just one of the unfortunate things that we've been seeing is that a lot of these proposals in the past that have for good or bad been passed haven't actually had that. And so we've actually had a lot of unnecessary road bumps and hiccups along the way as far as the community spends or the community requests for funds from the community pool have gone so far.
Yeah. Okay. So then, for your specific prop, we'll get into some of the important points. I know people want to see rather than read it blind.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's better to listen to the conversation. In your opinion, what would constitute a success halfway through or at the end of the time period that the team will be managing these community funds?
It'd be really hard for marketing. Communication and marketing is definitely, um, I'd say, a very tightrope to walk. There is a big difference in the two. Especially since we already have the communication subDAO. Um, but we can get into that and what I think the definition is and the differences. But when it comes to marketing, it definitely you need time to actually be able to measure, the return on your on your actions. And so I think within 6 months, although we will be giving monthly reports on how we're doing. I think that within at least 6 months, you should be able to have a measurement of like viewerships, interactions, impressions, etc., so that you can kind of gauge if the efforts from the marketing team or anybody in that for that matter is being productive. And if so long as they're growing to the to the upside, obviously, and they're not dwindling away, I think that's pretty much how you have to actually look at it in the short term because until you get about a year, maybe 2 years down the road, there's really because the markets change, right? There's really no way you could actually you know measure that without a doubt and say, look, this is worth it and this is not worth it.
But we could measure the amount of um, content that's produced, the amount of
Mhm.
Twitter Spaces that happen, and since this is a community funded project, it's in the best interest of the community to share this stuff and
Yeah.
to attend and engage with it to a certain point. I'm in the Juno Telegram. It's the most active Telegram I'm in. Juno Discord, very active. I have never logged into Twitter and seen a Juno Twitter space happening. never.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Well, and that's, that
that
kind of goes
and that
into
matters. That really
y-
matters. You
it
know, and
does. It
that's one platform. That's one platform. I don't see enough
mhm.
Juno focused websites. There's Cosmos Pug and what? That's about it, right?
Yeah.
Unless there's someone built an application, obviously. But yeah, I think you want to look at the prop and you could point out what you think the keys are, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, actually, if you want to just bring it up and we can
Yeah.
kind of like go from top to bottom. We don't have to read everything, but we can
Right,
kind of
right.
like go through the hot parts.
All right, let me just bring this up here.
Sure.
All right, so here's the prop. Like you said, we don't need to read every word, but maybe you could just point out the key sections when people go to read it themselves. They'll know really what you meant with each component and, you know, kind of how you came up with this, why it's good for the community. Where do you want me to go first?
Yeah, well, I just want to kind of reiterate, just so that everybody's absolutely clear. We're not asking to spend the whole 100,000 Juno. We're actually just asking to manage it in a more productive way. And all we're asking is that you allow us to use the staking rewards from using those 100,000 Junos in order for us to fund a marketing effort within the Juno ecosystem. So I just want to kind of reiterate that because I think a
Are
lot of
the
people actually look at this and think that we're just asking to spend 100K right off the bat.
are the community pools funds, are they currently staked?
Are the community funds from that we have currently in the Juno network currently stake? No,
Right. So that's
not
the opportunity, right?
yeah.
There's a big opportunity there,
Hmm.
especially if you're someone who thinks that Juno is basically bottoming right here, right?
Hmm.
Like where's the next sell pressure going to come from? Well, the 100,000 Juno will go to this marketing subDAO. Um, it will be staked, and you get into detail exactly how this will be used how this will be staked. And then again, only the staking rewards are going to be used to fund the marketing, which is again, I think this is the most important distinction, you know, compared to other spends that we've seen.
Yeah, yeah, and there's some other security layers that we've implemented into this proposal as well. Some of those features are not actually active currently, but with the staking or sorry, the vesting contract feature that Jake and the team with DAO should be producing here, hopefully shortly. Fingers crossed, right? I know a lot of people have been waiting for DAO V2, but as you can see in the very first part of this prop, we do show you that we are going to be using a vesting contract featured from DAO V2. So that should help alleviate a lot of people's concerns when it comes to the management of the 100K Juno. Even when it comes to rewards and how we compensate ourselves for the efforts and work that we're doing. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. But yeah, if you go down a little bit further, you'll be able to see some of our objectives. And of course, the biggest objective and mission statement or mission that we have is just basically to create more awareness of the Juno ecosystem and onboard new users and developers within the Juno network. Um, one of the the things throwing me off here. One of the things is the second bullet here that I want to kind of go over is producing a minimum of 6 impressions throughout many different social media platforms. You and myself, along with other members, obviously are quite familiar with putting out content, whether it be on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and anything in between. But we will be committed to putting out at a minimum, and that is just a minimum. More than likely, we'll be putting out more than that across all of those platforms, but at a minimum, 6 impressions, which could be anywhere from Medium articles to interviews to just talk sessions, going letting the community and people outside of the community know what's happening within the Juno network. And so that is one of our biggest focus if we actually do get approval from the community. Um, yeah, there you go. I can see it a lot better there.
Yeah, sorry, I had to fix it on my end. And like you said, different platforms. You're you really took a liking to Twitch. I like YouTube.
Yeah.
There are some people on the team who I think absolutely excel at Twitter Spaces, which is the most interactive form
Hmm.
of social engagement, community engagement that I've seen. Just because people can they could become a co-host as a community member and co-run the spaces if they want to, and they could ask what they want to ask. They could put people on the spot. It's really hard to ignore questions on Twitter Spaces if you're getting grilled. Um,
Yeah.
so so yeah, a little different than what we do, where you know it's our regular followers, and we know that it's going to be nice and rosy in the comments most of the time. This is a chance for community members who can scrutinize the progress of this marketing subDAO, and I think that's important because I don't see that happening. I see a lot of, you know, let's vote yes for everything and then complain in the Discord that the prices are going down without actually, doing anything about it or being part of the solution. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think this
yeah.
is
So
this is good.
this is just our way, along with the members, and we'll get to them in just a little bit, and kind of touch base with what you just said, and our strengths, and the things that we are striving to do. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. This is just our way of getting together, and saying, you know what, we're gonna do what everybody talks about, but we're gonna actually just do it. We're gonna band together and get this done. Um, if you go scroll down a little bit more. Oh, and I do want to just go on that last bullet right there. We do have TerraSpaces, or Finn from TerraSpaces, who is going to be helping us archive all Juno focused content. So I think that's and the service that he provides is key and crucial. So yeah, that'll be a really really cool thing for us to utilize, especially in future endeavors, because I see this actually going to be a very large marketing effort for the Juno network. Hopefully, right? Fingers crossed if the community gets behind us, within a year or two, I could actually see that being very very beneficial, and being able
Absolutely.
for having us to be able to pull from.
Yeah.
um
Listen, when I first came into the Cosmos ecosystem, one of the things I did was go back and watch like 20 of Cryptocito's videos from the previous year, right?
yeah,
And you need some of that old stuff to get caught up to see where you're at. When just burst in on a new ecosystem, you can't just all of a sudden know what's going on. Archiving content is crucial. This is why I'm so hell bent at getting projects out of Discord and off Twitter, is because those conversations disappear in
they get
minute,
lost.
minutes sometimes. Because
Yeah, they get lost with the amount of traction, the amount of activity that they had. It's very hard to
yep,
go back and even listen to, recorded ones on the I'm sorry, the Twitch platform, Twitter platform. There's sometimes where I have all the intentions to go back and listen to something, but I
correct, yep,
can't find it.
absolutely. I'm more likely
So
to go to Terra Spaces and find something by date, right? Like, or
yeah.
by where he puts the topic in. Yeah, no, I agree with you. What should we go to next?
Yeah, I do want to address, kind of like everybody's valid concerns is what the dollar amount looks like right now, and can we kind of touch base on that on the next section here?
Would love
At the
to.
current price, and when we wrote this, I believe it was 113, and so obviously you can see that being reflected in the price here. I'm not going to go over spend too much time, but I do want people to know we did take a lot of this into consideration and tried to be as fair as possible, but I'll be very, very honest. I do think that work, especially productive and worthwhile work, does warrant some sort of a pay. But we also do not want to see any more reckless spending, any more reckless industry standards that we've been seeing get tossed
Industry.
around. So we and I'll explain this in just a little bit, but the total community ask right now, when we actually it's a little bit higher, thank goodness, and hopefully we keep seeing that actually rise. But when we wrote this, it was $1.13, so you can see it was 113 staked between multiple validators. This would produce on average about 3,100 Juno monthly in staking rewards. That earnings at that current time was right around $3,500 in USD. So it's not much that we're working with as far as the budget goes for the marketing fund, but between the members and the communities that we've already built, and the following that we've already built, along with the platforms that we're currently on, I do think that it is a fair, and also, and to be honest with you, probably cheap for what you're getting,
Yeah.
um,
It is because,
amount.
and something that people don't understand is not only does it take time to make content, it takes time. There's also an
Mhm.
opportunity cost for content creators to focus on one blockchain, because there
Yep.
are thousands, and it doesn't matter that Juno has the best tech. That's irrelevant. What
Mhm.
matters is that no one knows about Juno.
Yep.
And the purpose of this is to get eyes on Juno, and also, also make it worthwhile for content creators to be motivated to make good content, that when people get their attention on Juno, there's something to dig into. And
Yep.
I'm not talking about price charts. Like that's the
Mhm.
least interesting thing. If Juno has the best tech, it should be put on full display.
Yep. Yep. But if you scroll down here just a little bit more, the marketing fund, 90% of the delegation rewards gained by staking is going to be used to support the marketing effort. This is per community feedback, could always be changed. It could always be altered. This is just in the draft situation of things right now. But the idea is 10 batches of 10K Juno will be delegated to lower rank validators at the discretion of the contributing managing members. These delegations will be rotated between validators every 6 months. Again, I don't want to get into the weeds of that because we do have a delegation subDAO. And again, we do have a communication subDAO. And I do want to stress this again, very much so, and let everybody know this isn't in competition. This is us working in parallel and hopefully complementing the delegation subDAO and also the communication subDAO. And in this regards, the delegation subDAOs, I've been talking to a few members, and I also do know that they are very, very technical, and it's the criteria that they are going to be putting forth is a lot more than what we need. And so I wanted to leave this very, very simple and just say, we at our discretion will tip, I'm just throwing it out there right now, we'll pick 40 validators who are 40 and maybe, below, and not the top ranked ones that obviously don't need the delegation support or help, but the ones that we deem to be good actors and good service providers, which a lot of them are. Um, and delegate to those and then rotate them so that it's fair, and so that doesn't get stuck with a set 10 validators for any given lengthy amount of time. It will be exposed, and the benefit for these validators will actually be shared. So again, I kind of just want to get into that because I know a lot of people were saying, well, what's the criteria? And right now, guys, I'm just going to say it's going to be per the discretion of the managing members. We
Got
will
it. Okay.
always give feedback, though. I do want to stress that we will give monthly reports and feedback always. We're going to be very proactive, as a group, and we're not going to let any of these situations come up where we are having to um, re, you know, respond to concerns. We want to be front running those concerns and even bringing them up probably before the community does. And so, yeah. Um, if you want to stop me anytime, also, Joe, just let me know.
No,
But I'm
no,
going to
this
go
is good.
right into the
This is
next
good
one.
because people want to know, oh, they're staking. How are they going to decide?
Yeah.
And they're going to split the stake between 10 different validators, and it'll be there'll be some, I would say, light scrutiny over who the recipients will be, which is fair, and it'll rotate. I think that should
Yeah.
alleviate concerns. It's better than the way I pick my validators, which is whoever returns my DMs on Twitter.
Yes, and I do want to say again, obviously, right? Like we do know that there is no way that we're going to be able to satisfy everybody's critiques, and it's fair.
Right.
It's absolutely fair.
It's fair.
As community members ourselves, I do know that everybody's going to have their suggestions and their picks as far as where delegations should go. But I can only tell you that obviously, hopefully, we're fingers are crossed that this is going to be a long term thing and the community sees value in this. The idea is hopefully that the delegations get touched by everybody that's good validators within the lineup. So if it doesn't happen at the first round, like just it's going to happen on the second or third. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of time. So
Got it. And
moving on though from that, or if
now,
you want to add
I
on
mean,
to it.
we mentioned the pay for the people who are on the team. I'm one of them.
Mhm.
This is what it looks like in raw numbers, right? It's basically 450 US dollars per month per member. Everyone's going to have a responsibility. 115 bucks a week, something like that, which is nice, and it will be kind of guaranteed focus on Juno ecosystem from people that I think have a different reach and different set of skills, and we'll get into the
Yep.
members. But is there anything you want to say about the monthly pay for the time put in, other than it's going to be partially vested, or you think that's what you want to touch on there?
Yeah, no, I think this is obviously one of the bigger concerns and criticisms that we've been hearing thus far. I want to say to every community member, totally understand. We're community members as well. Trust me, we totally understand where you guys are coming from. But if you go back up here, like Joe was saying, at the time of when we wrote this, it's roughly about $450 per member. On the second bullet, you can see right there, the monthly staking rewards are going to obviously be immediately available, but the members' compensation should be 50% vested. So 450 split into two right off the bat, guys. Like
Right.
half of that is going to be vested for a minimum of 6 months, so that anybody who thinks that we're just going to be dumping and this is a cash grab, think about it. This is a lot of work for $250. Like, yes, we do know the price has jumped up like a couple of cents right now. I believe at the time we're making this video, it's like 117. Fingers crossed it stays there and keeps going up. But it's still for what the work is, it's nothing, to be very honest with you. And so we wanted to be fair. We wanted to show that we are vested with the community for the long term, and we didn't want to have anybody ever think that this was, what the critiques have been getting thrown around, and that is a cash grab. If anything, we just want to show the commitment to you guys in the effort that we're trying to put forth. And then again, at the very end of this, you can see, like I said, 90% is going to be going to the membership compensation, but 10% to in order for us to sustain ourselves is going to be put on the side as well, because at the end of the year, or if they decide even before that, the community decides that hey, this isn't worth it, or for whatever reason something might happen, we have funding that we can actually self stake ourselves. So 10% of that is going to be put on the side for long term support in this marketing fund. Again, just showing you guys that we are vested into it, guys. But yeah, um,
And then there is a cap on how much each
yes,
member could earn should the token fluctuate. I think this is fair. Coming from community funds, there should be a cap,
yep.
at least in the short term, for monthly compensation. And if people don't like it, they should revise the prop, right? Like if we think 1500 is too low 6 months from now, we revise the prop, or too bad for us, right? That's just how it
Yeah,
goes. I
or if you
think
guys, if in a year we're doing a great job and we're getting exposure all over the
Twitter
place, you
surveys.
guys see this on crypto.com, or all the great websites that you guys hope to see Juno Network stamped on. You guys might want to say, hey, let's give these guys $2,000 or something. You guys could obviously, like anything, up and or down, you guys can submit a proposal to revise the prop.
Let
So yeah,
let's go through the members quick, and then we'll close it out, I think. But
sure.
yeah, so it's Tank. Tank, I know that a couple days ago, I knew you were revising the prop. I said, listen, I'll support any version of the prop just for the fact that you're actually revising it. And I like the overall goal. And then you asked me to be on it. I'm on it. Finn.
Mhm.
Finn is I would say an unsung hero community member who's
Yep.
in every single spaces, and if he's not in there, he's listening to all of them. He touches them up a little bit, archives it. If you've been on a spaces in the last 8 months, it's archived on terraspaces.org, right? It's terraspaces.org,
Mhm.
and he's going to work with us to save some of this stuff. I hope I don't have to explain who Timmy is, but Tenderman Timmy, he's building Spark IBC. He's very focused on onboarding community members into the Cosmos ecosystem. Lil Gaines has been really pushing Cosmos Spaces out there. When I first came into the ecosystem and I first got my Twitter account, I used to listen to Sunday Cosmos Spaces, Wednesday night Cosmos Spaces, or Wednesday night was Timmy, Thursday night Cosmos Spaces, just to get an idea of what Cosmos was about. They helped me a lot. And
If you
then,
guys don't know Little Gaines, by the way, I just want to say, just to
what?
refresh your memories, Little Gaines was one of the MCs at Cosmoverse.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah, I
was one of
forgot.
the MCs for Cosmoverse. So if anybody ever questions, that's the man right there. So
And then 6 and 7, I feel like are perfect ambassadors for not only Twitter Spaces. I'm sure they could do a lot more, but for Twitter Spaces, B Bands and Mayor are professional. They are great at moderating Twitter Spaces, keeping the conversation civil even when there's disagreements. And
mhm.
these are two people that I wish they hosted Twitter Spaces every single day, just to kind of be the voice of the discussion going on in Cosmos. Um, Anything you want to say about any others?
Yeah, no, every one of the members here, obviously, again, I just want to say to the community members that may be watching this, or gave us critique. Again, I just want to say, like, we do know that there's always going to be another nomination. There's always going to be some criticisms, but these community members, I can personally vouch for, and I find a lot of value. And none of it was an oversight. This is per the platforms that we're all on. Joe does YouTube a lot more. I do YouTube with IBC Gang, but I do a lot of my live streams on Twitch. And like I said, Cosmos Spaces, along with Timmy, both of those individuals are very well respected and known, especially for hosting Twitter Spaces and content there with interviews ranging from left to right within the Cosmos. And then also, like, again, they bring a little bit extra as well, because I will say they both run validators as well on the Juno lineup. So, like, you know, they are very, very active within the community, and want to see the long term success of the Juno network. And like you said, I can't speak any more higher volumes than you already did
Yeah.
about Mayor and Bands. So,
And as far as people maybe like being surprised, like, why isn't this person on it? Why isn't this person on it? You shouldn't need someone who's already been a part of several props to get a prop passed. If it's a community
mm,
prop, this is the community, you know, as far as Tank is concerned, who he reached out to, who he, I don't want to say handpicked, but had like a short discussion, say, hey, are you on board? Are you willing to do XYZ for these reasons? And I think it's a good way to start a team. You should not need a developer to spend community funds on the prop. I'm sorry, that's not what should happen.
mm,
Juno is, strong community, strong community. Well, talented community is more important, and we need people that have talent on the same team managing some of the money. And I hope that more people put out props like this. I would like to see a bunch of other people say, "Hey, we're going to do something similar, but we want 200,000, and this is how we're going to manage the money. And here's our resume. I'm in finance. I'm in business. We could be responsible for this, and we could generate, you know, these these results. I think this is how community money should be managed, at least to an extent, rather than just plopping down money for a project that you don't know if it's going to get complete or if it's going to be successful in the long run anyway.
yep, yep, I agree. But I do want to just add one last thing. Even with that said, because I 100% agree with, there's so many talented individuals
There are.
throughout the
You
Juno
don't have to
network.
know coding like the back of your hand to be talented and contribute to the space. That's what content creators do. I believe me. I wish I was a dev. Um, I wish I was. I'm not, so I try to contribute in other ways. But yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut
Yeah,
you off.
no, no, no. But I do want to, open invitation, proactively putting it out there again. I would like the community to provide oversight. I want them to be watching us like a hawk. I want the communication subDAO, the delegation
Yeah,
subDAO, and
yeah,
also the sauce subDAO as well. Like, I openly invite them. Keep, like, please do. That's what we're there for, to complement each other and to run parallel, and play to our strengths. Again, we're trying to field a lot of the community leveled situations and issues that we have been plagued with within, not just the Juno network, but throughout the greater cosmos. I'm not going to get into that, but we all know what that is. We're trying to field those issues. Let the delegation subDAO handle the things that they need to handle. Let the communication subDAO handle what they need to handle. They're trying to retroactively, communicate back to the community the things that are happening within the Juno network. We're trying to get ahead of that curve. We're trying to
right.
reach the inner workings of our community, bring that together, and then also expand outwards in a more organic community, and transparent, productive effort. So that is our main focus. That is what we're committed to, and I hope that the community is open minded to at least giving it a chance. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, communities should be able to pull a plug on any spend. Nothing should get paid
100%.
up front. Absolutely nothing should get paid up front. We see this with NFT projects all the time. They get paid up front from the mint, never even come close to completing the roadmap. The difference is an NFT mint is not community funds. Those are people are opting to buy those. They're basically
Mhm.
seed rounds, right? You're you're
Yeah,
you're you're buying them yourself. Community funds should be handled very delicately. I'm on board because I think you did that. It's way more transparent and there's more safeguards built in and definitions of what is actually going to happen, what's going to be successful, and all that. So I
appreciate it.
I don't want to influence people's votes. Here's the information. We're content creators. We're putting out a video because this involves making content and it's a prop. So, again, discussion can be down below. I'll definitely monitor the discussion down there. The link will be below for official uh, Commonwealth link. And yeah, and this might not be the last version of the prop. Keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Like Tank's been open to input, and I've seen this evolve to where it is now, and I'm sure there could be some tweaks to make it even better from someone else that has other ideas. So feel
yeah.
free, feel free. All
Appreciate
right,
it, Joe.
take it easy, man.
Take it easy.
All right.